If your quail have been bleeding you dry, instead of paying the bills, you're gonna want to pull up a chair. I've got 3 ways to flip the script, and number 3 is by far my favorite. The first way I ever made money through quail was through selling hatching eggs. They'll honestly depend on how and where you sell them. People don't want to pay a lot of money. When you go to Facebook groups, I hear people saying anything between $3 and $10 a dozen for fertile hatching eggs. So in all honesty, if you're selling hatching eggs, I do not recommend going to the local groups. You'll have better luck on Craigslist, you'll have better luck on Etsy, and you have by far the best luck when you create your own Facebook page. When you create a separate page that shows you're a business, people take you more seriously. How many times have you been in a Facebook group and heard about all the scammers out there? So while you might be legit, posting in the Facebook page, if you're posting in these groups, I recommend doing it with your professional Facebook and have a good way for them to contact you. Definitely make sure you have a lot of pictures of your products and do a couple of posts just kind of saying how you got into it, what your thoughts are on quail, because some people will buy hatching eggs depending on how you raise quail. Another way to sell hatching eggs is going to local swaps. I recommend bigger ones because, again, if you go to like the Tractor Supply ones, they do tend to pull in the crowd that wants the lower prices for eggs. When I went to a big local swap when I was in Virginia, I was getting $24 a dozen for my mixed eggs. That was regular Coturnix quail and Coturnix quail with a Celadon gene. Then when I moved online, I was getting anywhere between $18 and $35 for a dozen hatching eggs. The $18 a dozen was just for my regular Coturnix. Then I would charge maybe around like $25 for specialty colors. And I charged $35 a dozen for my true blue Celadon Coturnix quail. And that's because these were guaranteed blues. Every single time your hen laid an egg, it was going to be blue. As long as you bred it with another true blue Celadon male, you were always going to get blue eggs. I personally paid a lot of money for it, so I was charging what was needed to get a return and make it worth my time. Selling hatching eggs instead of eating eggs was a way better decision for me because it had a much higher profit margin, especially when you start getting into the specialty feather colors and the specialty egg colors. The second way I made money selling quail was juveniles, laying hens, and breeding sets. I never sold chicks because they're just way too fragile. Even if I wasn't driving far with them, the fatality rate just got way too high. What I like to do was go to local swaps, again, the bigger the better, or I would post on Craigslist and Facebook pages. Though, again, I'm gonna be honest, I'm not a fan of Facebook pages unless they're specifically coming to your business Facebook page. Typical prices that I would charge for my laying hens was $12 a piece. There are so many people again out there that might say $12 is a lot for a laying hen, but it is 6 to 8 weeks old. That took time, that took effort, that took feed, that took the incubation process, however it was that you got there, and they are definitely worth $12 per hen. Another reason $12 is a fair ask is people are paying for convenience. So if they're not willing to give you $12 for a bird that you took all your time to raise, then they're just being stingy. $12 is a very fair price to be able to get eggs immediately. If people think it's unfair to pay $12 for a laying hen, ask them how much they pay for their coffee. Come on, I mean, let's just be realistic here. Juveniles are the easiest, fastest way to get money for your quail. I'll sell them between 2 and 4 weeks old. If I'm doing a guaranteed female, it's going to be 4 weeks old, so I can be absolutely sure it's a female. If it is a non-feather sexable quail, I'll sell them at 2 weeks for $4 each. The guaranteed female is $7 a piece, and then full-grown males are $5 a piece. Breeding sets is another really fun way to make money with quail. These guys can be anywhere from 4 weeks to 8 weeks old. Typically, I wouldn't recommend waiting till 8. You want to get rid of them. You want to move them as soon as you can. My favorite way to sell them as breeding sets is at 4 weeks old because quail will stop laying when you move them due to stress and other factors. So I don't like to sell 6 weeks and get their first eggs and then come back all upset that they were laying and then they stopped. So I sell at 4 weeks so I can guarantee what's female and guarantee what's male. I typically do 4 females for 1 male, and I'll charge $45 for the breeding set. And then number 3, my absolute favorite, turn your chaos into cash. If you love quail, you love homesteading, you love chickens, whatever, There is always a way to make money if you know how to do it. I've heard so many people be like, I'm in an area where nobody wants to pay for quail eggs. They don't want to give me a reasonable price for quail hatching eggs, and they don't want to pay me any money for live quail either. If that's the case and you can't expand to a point where you can sell eggs wholesale, or you're not willing to create an online business selling hatching eggs, or you can even sell feathers to artists on Etsy, there's so many ways to make money with quail, especially when you start bringing things online. But like I said, my absolute favorite way of making money with my quail, my chickens, my homestead, everything, is by creating content. A lot of people would be like, yeah, I can't do that. But truthfully, many people today do not mind voiceovers or even text on screen. So all you have to do is film what's going on in your homestead and write script over it. Or if you don't mind talking, then do voiceovers. People absolutely love egg collections. People absolutely love you interacting with your animals, especially if you have something fun like ducks, where they're just wild and they fly around and they swim and do their splashy thing. People eat that up. If you're anything like me, I'm a stay-at-home mom. I have so much going on anyway. It takes time for my homestead. I'm part of family farming. So then when I'm trying to make money, it was just so exhausting to think that I had to find a way to be selling my quail eggs, whether it was locally or online. Then you had to take in the fact of packaging. You had to go to the post office and ship. You had to interact with the people to make sure they had good experiences. And while I do love interacting with people, I prefer to do it more in a teaching way. So as you know, by watching this channel or my TikTok channel, you will see that I make money off from my content. I make money off from telling stories about homesteading. I make money by teaching other people how to raise quail. So if you're looking for a way to make money with quail, you've tried everything else and nothing is working, then this just might be your solution. And again, not everybody will be out there making a ton of views, but honestly, you do not need to go viral. You do not need a ton of followers to make money online. One of the best ways is with high ticket affiliate marketing. If you want to look into more of that, you can go to Digistore. Then there's also creating digital products. If you have a lot of knowledge about homesteading, or you simply have just an amazing story, a transformation that you went through to get to where you are in life, you can package it and sell it to others, because they're desperately searching for ways to change their life, whether it's making money with quail, whether it's how homesteading changed them from a stressed out, overworked 9-to-5 mom to just being filled with joy and peace and loving their life. You might think it's too simple, they won't. And if you're sitting there thinking, this is just way too much, I barely have time to shower, let alone try to figure out a completely new skill like using social media to make money, that's exactly why I created my Turn Chaos into Cash. Join my newsletter and I'll share tips with you how I make money with quail online, how I make money just telling stories, how I have so much more time freedom and joy because of this path in life that I chose. And for a limited time only, I'm doing free 30-minute calls to do research, get feedback on what's your biggest fear, what is stopping you from chasing your dreams. What is it that you need to start a homestead? What is it that you think you need to know before you can really start profiting from quail? Quail are worth it. I promise you. It doesn't matter how you choose to make money with them. As long as you do it properly, work hard, put in the effort, you will make money with quail. What you have to ask yourself is how much money you want making quail. Because let's be realistic, when you do physical products, you'll reach an income ceiling. You can only give so much time in exchange for money. But if you do something like digital products or high ticket affiliate marketing, that cap goes up so much further. It gives you so much more time and so much more freedom. Click the link below to schedule a call with me. I would absolutely love to hear from you, even if it's just a bunch of questions, what you have going on now and where you'd like to go into the future. I would absolutely love to hear from you. I hope you got a lot of information out of this video. If I missed something, write in the comments and maybe I can create another video going into more detail.